Instead, I'm just going to tell you the 3 words I came out here to tell you about, and then I'm going to go. In case you didn't figure it out, I just responded to everything he said in 1 sentence. So, I gave him the meaning of the word Islam, the word of Muslim, the word Allah. I have 4 words because I talked about the Quran. What does it actually mean? That was it. And I felt like, well, I did my job. I'll go. A guy came up on the stage, and I was telling him, you got to get off the stage. You can't come up here because the people milling around and everything, and you don't know who's got what kind of agenda going on in their head. He wasn't a Muslim, And he said, but I want to make Shahada. I said, what? He said, get up on this stage. And he did his Shahada. A young man, I think he was in the Australian Navy or something, was behind us on the bleacher area over there. And he said, I want to as well. And he entered Islam. Then there were some girls, 3, right over in the area, right over there. We took the microphone over to them, and they did Shahada. Now, they're making Shahada after this guy insulted Islam every way he could think to do it. And it's not because of me. But I guarantee you, if I would have done what was inside of me to do, that would have been a big problem for me. Allah would have made a problem for me. Because haq is haq. And when they play their games, we still cannot respond that way. We've been told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala very clear that you have to be patient and forbearing. They plan and Allah plans, not you plan. They plan and Allah plans, and who's the best of planners? So you tell them, you deliver your message, and you do it in the best way. Now, let's come to the main point of our talk tonight, which is how do we deal with the harsh attacks? Somebody comes to you, you want a Muslim, ain't you? Yeah. So you believe in Allah, don't you? Yep. How come you guys is terrorists? What are you going to say? How come you guys have to beat your wives? Or like one woman asked me, how come you men can have 4 wives and a woman can't have 4 husbands? Why do you have to oppress women? How come you have to kill all the Jews and Christians? Why is your religion so violent? So what do you say? Has anybody ever sat with you and showed you the right way to respond to this? Because we have the best example on earth of how to reply to those types of harsh attacks. And who am I talking about? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. No doubt about it. Did he have a problem? Every single day did they give him a problem. The Qurayshi tribe, his own relatives, man, coming at him. And by the way, they weren't just coming up and saying things to hurt his feelings. They were hurting the Muslims physically. True or false? How many of you know about the occasion when he and Abu Bakr were both right by the Kaaba? And the Quraysh nearly beat them to death. They had to haul him home, drag him home. And Abu Bakr nearly died. But when he came to, all he could worry about was the Prophet ﷺ. And he wasn't going to relax until he knew Rasulullah ﷺ was okay. Remember the story? They nearly beat him to death. Okay, so what happened? So the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, everybody tonight, get your weapons and sneak up on them, and we're going to go in and blow them up. And nope. That was still in the early years. That was in Mecca. They had no commandment. And the Prophet ﷺ didn't make up the religion. It has to come from Allah. And without a commandment to do it, they can't do it. All they can do is self-defense, which, of course, anybody can do that. When the orders for battle came, they were very clear. And even today in the Geneva Convention, they cannot match, they can't touch the laws and the rules for battle that Islam has. Can't even get close. It's too beautiful. First, you have to have the circumstance that Allah is describing in the Quran. It can't be that you're going out here fighting for money. There's no such thing as being mercenaries in Islam. You can't fight for money. They can. Right now in the United States, we have a huge number of people being trained in private camps, private businesses, training people to be mercenaries, and then renting them out to the United States to the tune of over $100,000 a month each. Have you heard about it? Yes. You're looking at me like you got no clue what I'm talking about. It's called Blackwater. That's one of them. One of 6 of the major ones. And the guy that runs it's a personal friend of Mr. B's. Yeah, take care of your buddies. Those are mercenaries. We can't do that. Kill for money, you can't do it. Property, same thing. No. And again, I'm not talking about self-defense. Everybody always has the right to self-defense. That's common sense. But when it comes to organizing and going in battle, there's a name for it in Arabic. Do you know what it is? What is it? You guys are freezing up on me, man. What, are you afraid of the secret cameras in here or something? Somebody said, Sheikh, is it the J word? No, it's not the J word. The word actually has reference to killing. It's called qital, from kittel. And this is the word that Allah is using in the Quran. But it means to engage in a type of fight that can wind up in death. In English, it has the word mortal combat. And this is what's mentioned in Quran. But there are so many things that have to be in place, and it has to be followed a certain way. That's why the Prophet ﷺ never allowed anybody to do this until they had it from Allah and how to do it. And when to do it. And most important of all, when not to do it. They use the term in the translators, they use this in verse 190 of Surah Baqarah, they use the term in English, fight. But more appropriately, it should be combat. Because fighting, you imagine somebody standing there going, qitl. No, it's more like, you know, this is a lot closer. Fight them when they fight you, but stop if they stop. Otherwise, you're the aggressor, and verily Allah doesn't love the aggressors. Verse 191 next says, وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ. Now this is the imperative, like Quran. Quran is a word, it's a noun. Qari, one who recites. Iqra, you recite. That's the imperative of the word. So, waqtuluhum, aqtuluhum, because wa just means and, says, kill them, but it's in combat. So it's the same word again. Kill in combat or mortal combat. Wherever you find them, turn them out from where they turned you out. Now, what did that mean? That was specific, wasn't it? They never read the rest of that verse, by the way, because right away the people would be going, who got turned out? What was that all about? So they just stopped short. And that's another kind of lying, is to take part of a verse and just show that. And in actuality, it was talking specifically about when they go for Hajj. If you go back to verse 189, you can see that there are 3 things that are being asked to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, Solunica, they're asking you, that's how the verse starts out, about such things as the moons, and this is to know when to do Hajj. and entering your house by the wrong doors, and that's superstition, don't do that. And then the subject of, when are we ever going to get to fight? I mean, 13 years, and we've just been hassled to death. All we want to do is go do Hajj. So this is what it was pertaining to that, and going back to the place which was their own land, their own homes, their own families, their own property. And they were being told now by Allah, yes, you can go back, and if they fight you, you can fight them. And you can even turn them back out of the property they stole from you and take your land back. But it has these conditions to go with it, because before that, they never had any of the conditions. Arabs, before Islam came, were very tribal and feudal.